and welcome to Robert's Field, where we are about to witness an history-making event. My name is Stephen Cummins, and my fellow announcer for this broadcast is Chico Khan. This is the first ever night game to be played in the history of cricket in Massachusetts. The better part of the game will be played under artificial lighting and with the use of white balls and black sight screens. Also for this game, the cricketers will be using colored shirts, which is completely different from the traditional all-white clothing.
Yes, Stephen, this is indeed a history-making event because the Massachusetts State Cricket League has been around for 90 years now. It was founded originally in 1902, and this is really the first time that we're making such an effort to take the game out to a wider audience. Towards this spot, of course, is a televised broadcast that we're doing here today, and we hope that this will enhance the audience.
Chico,
1940s, eventually, due to the war to some extent and to other circumstances, the league became defunct, and it was recreated in the 1960s. And since 1968, it has been in continuous operation here in Massachusetts. Some of the players who will be playing in this game, the teams, and give you an idea of some of the things to look forward to. Two zones, North Zone and the South Zone. And today we're going to have representative teams from both zones playing each other. From the North Zone we have a team being captained by Morris Blake, who is also the captain of Conway Cricket Club during the regular season. And his vice captain will be Lal Balgobin, who is the captain of the Guyana International Social and Cultural Organization. Along with those two, we have Carl Yard from Cavaliers, Everton Tull from Middlesex, Basil Collymore also from Middlesex, Wayne Hackett from Lynn, Ralston Johnson, who's the wicketkeeper for the North Zone, who plays for Conway, Ian Shelley from Commonwealth Cricket Club, Naveed Ashraf from Quincy Cricket Club, Glenn Williams from the Caribbean Cultural Center, and Sherlyn Babb from the North Shore Cricket Club. Butcher, who is the captain of the United Athletics Association, and his vice captain will be Dudley English, who is the captain of Windsor Cricket Club. Playing along with them are Rajin Rampasad of Trinidad and Tobago Wanderers, Douglas Manning of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Stephen Cummins from Unity's Sports and Cultural Club, Kenneth Lousing from T&T Wanderers, Grantley Headley also of Unity, Ridley Harding of Combined Islands, Ivan Osborne of Windsor Cricket Club, Glenn Austrie of Spartans, and Ed Maskell also of UAA. Stephen, I think we have two very well-matched teams here. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think we are looking forward today for what a very interesting game. From cricketers' standpoint or point of view, we are expecting to see some of the best, some of the finest technique of cricket that can be played in United States of America. I like to think, Chico, that cricketers in Massachusetts are some of the best in the whole United States of America. Most of these players I have played with them and against them, and I can tell you from playing among these guys that these players are some of the finest in the country.
Yes, I can confirm that. I've played cricket in Florida, I've played in New York, and now I'm playing here in Massachusetts, and I must say that the players here are very high caliber players. I think some of the key people to look out for here today is the bowling strength of the North Zone. They have some of the finest bowlers in Balgobin, Tull, Babb, and Ashraf, and I think we may see that being a key eventually. The South Zone has the bowling strength of Butcher, of Austrie, and of Rampasad. And I think what we're likely to see is more a matchup of classy bowlers than a classic slogfest where the batting is always on top.
Definitely. With the young guy Naveed from Quincy Cricket Club. That guy was very enthusiastic about the way he approached this night game and all the preparations that were going in to make it what it is going to be today, a history-making event. He did very well in practice, and I definitely think that he is one of the guys that I'll be looking for to give a good account of his talent, his cricketing ability today.
Well, Steve, I've spoken to most of the players, quite frankly, and I think they're all very enthusiastic about this whole thing. For most of them, it's a brand new experience. A game being played under the lights, which they've never done before. Playing with the colored clothing, which is something most of them have never done before. So I think they're up, they're psyched, they're ready, they're raring to go here today.
Well, that I will see one of my, how shall I say, comrades, Mr. Headley. He's one of the senior players in Massachusetts today. And also another great player who will be out on the field today will be M.S.C.L. He is also one of the older players and the more senior players in the league. And believe me, he is the gentleman of all cricket.
I agree with you. M.S.C.L certainly is a character. And with that, Steve, I think you'd better go get a change of clothing, because I know you're playing out there today, and we'll turn you over to Mr. Steve DeVoe down on the field, and he's going to do the ball by ball.
Well, thanks, Chico.
Just getting ready for the start of play. The two teams in the Massachusetts State Cricket League All-Star game lined up. The North Zone dressed in blue tops, the South Zone dressed in purple tops. Okay, moving in again is Ramperso bowls. And once again down the leg side, Shelley makes a half-hearted sort of glance shot, doesn't get a piece of it, and it goes through to the wicketkeeper. Don't do that too often. And Rampersad moves in again now to bowl to yard. Oh, he's got an edge, a flash outside the off stump, and it hit it over the head of second slip, and it goes to the boundary for 4. Not the nicest looking shot that you've ever seen. Very lucky to clear the head of second slip, but it goes into the scorebook as 4. We believe it was byes, but we still haven't. Oh, and bowled center stump. Ian Shelley got a ball that kept low and hit his center stump, uprooted his center stump. A beautiful ball by Austrie. He did have the good fortune that it kept a tiny bit low, but Shelley now completely threw Shelley's guard. And so North Zone are 11 runs for 1 wicket, with Ian Shelley bowled by Glenn Austrie for 1. A cover and a deep mid off, a deep mid on, a square leg deep and forward of the umpire. Ooh, once again. We have to believe that Austrie's doing something with that ball up there.
Yes, ball quite hard.
Ooh, a Yorker there. Nice ball. Yorker, for those who may not be familiar with the terminology, is a ball that's bowled right up into the batter's, in the block hole, as they say, bounces right on the crease, essentially. And the batsman has difficulty in digging it out often. And that's what that delivery was. And no runs off it as John. Oh, and there's a beautiful cover drive, rolling down close to the boundary. It may go for 4. The batsman crossed for 2. They're coming back for 3. It's stopped down there by, I think that's Headley, and he throws it in as the batsman crossed for 3 runs. A beautiful shot by Yard. And that takes his score now up to 5. And I believe that the person, as we watch a nice little glance down the leg side to deep square leg by Johnson, and the cross for a run, and Johnson is off the mark. He's on 1, Yard on 10, and the score moves up to Department, who I know is in touch with the league's Stephen Cummings, who is also a player in this match, and who did a great job on both getting the field together and getting the lights set up. The lights are supposed to be very brilliant here tonight. They replaced a lot of the weaker balls. And the two batsmen cross for a quick single. There's a misfield out there by, who was that the misfield for that?
M.S.C.L.
Looked like
M.S.C.L, I think,
M.S.C.L.
yeah.
And the ball was recovered by Grantley Headley. Unfortunately, Johnson.
So moves again, and balls, and there's a catch, and it's dropped. Oops, and Yard hit that one. It was a difficult running catch for Dudley English at deep mid-off. He ran over, got both hands on it, and should have held it,
Yes.
but in baseball it would have been a. Austria moving in. Should be about time for. Johnson plays it very quietly down on the leg side, and as English moves in to field it from the square leg position, the two batsmen crossed for an easy single. Those singles seem to be there to be picked up, and Singh to out of the leg gully position to just backward of square leg, and pulls English in to a more conventional mid-wicket position. There's a high shot out over the cover. M.S.C.L hit that one in the air over the head of cover, and not a confident shot by any means. He was quite inaccurate. And what can you tell us about Lal Singh?
Lal Singh is fast medium bowler as well.
Good ball on the off stump, and Johnson plays it away on the leg side, and the two batsmen cross for another quick single. Johnson moving up now to 6, and the score on to 3. Now Johnson batting. Notice how he crouches over the bat, and he plays a nice shot. Oh, and it's through cover. Straight through the legs of the cover fieldsman, and 4 runs to the boundary. Bad bit of fielding there. Johnson therefore moved. Okay, Austria moving in again to bowl. And there it goes, exactly what you called for. That's a beautiful shot, one bounce over the boundary, short and on the leg side as you had predicted, Chico, and Johnson just pulled it high over square leg for 4, just short of a 6.
Just a little bit more on that ball and we would have seen our first 6 of the game.
That's right.
36 to 50.
Oh, and there's a nice on-drive by Yard from a well-pitched up ball by Lal Singh, and the batsman cross for yet another single, score 43. Yard, season is 18, so another 3 and he'll pass that. Lal Singh again, short of a length, and Johnson flashes at it. I don't know if he got a piece, but it's running down to the boundary. We'll have to wait for the umpire signal as to whether, and again they get only 1 run, and it's byes. One bye. I believe to 44 for 1 wicket. This pair have put on 33. Johnson, in order to give a legal LBW decision against the batsman. English moving in again to bowl. And there's Yard slashing away. The ball's by the wicket-keeper again. Fine leg runs around and picks it up as the batsman cross for 2, and again it's 2 byes. Johnson having a little trouble with one of his pads. Austria at first slip fixes it for him. The field that English is bowling to is a 1 slip, a gully, a very deep cover point, a short extra cover, a mid-off, long on, a mid-wicket, shallow mid-wicket, a square leg just backward of the umpire, and a long leg. A very nice off drive by Johnson, and again goes through Rampersad, who is having his difficulties playing out there at mid-off, and the batsman crossed for 2 runs. Okay. Question his computer hadn't been programmed to answer. Okay, here's Lal Singh bowling now, and Yard plays it, sort of a peculiar looking shot off of 1 leg out to the cover point position, where it's fielded by M.S.C.L and thrown. Deepish cover point, extra cover, a mid-off, A long on. There's a nice square, nice late cut actually by Yard, rolling down and over the boundary, 4 runs. A very pretty shot by Yard. That goes for 4. That brings the score up now to 54. Yard moving on to 21. The score 66.
Partnership.
Oh, and there's another beautiful shot by Yard. What a display! What a display he's putting on. It's fielded way down there and picked up. Is that 4? We haven't seen a signal yet. And there we get the signal from M.S.C.L down on the boundary. 4 runs and 20 runs so far off this over. 17 to 37. Quite a display.
Water break.
Because as we know, fielders will appeal for anything. Here's English bowling again. Oh, and Johnson got impatient and played over a Yorker, and it took his center stump. A nice innings by Johnson. He scored 19, and the partner.
Morris Blake going into bat now. Excellent batsman by any standards, as you remember from the last All-Star game.
Audience about it. It is ironic that every time you have a good partnership going,
Diego Wanderers. English now, who just took that wicket, moving into bowl to Blake. Left-handed batsman, and Blake played tentatively forward and was lucky not to get in there. Give us Dudley English's bowling. I batted well against him earlier this year in our match against Windsor, but I will admit he had a bad leg at the time.
Yeah. He's come a long way, Steve. I've seen years where he wasn't bowling as well, but this year he seemed to be bowling extremely well.
Very accurate, good length, good line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Having been the captain of Windsor and
Correctly, or is it just two Blake brothers?
two brothers.
Two brothers and your father?
Yes.
Right, and your father played a lot of cricket in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Now, did you and Maurice grow up in Jamaica, or did you learn much of your cricket over here? Oh, there's a nice shot by Yard down to the long leg boundary where it's fielded and thrown back in by Osborne.
I left Jamaica.
English keeping the scoring down, bowling now to Blake again. And nicely, very daintily placed there between slip and gully, running down towards third man, the absent third man for 2 runs as Gully chases it down, and the batsman cross for 2. Still to go, I guess chances are good that we'll see something of him, but it's an all-star game. Oh, and there's a catch, and oh! And that was definitely a chance. That Maurice Blake hit that in the air to... Is it defensively down on the leg side?
English is bowling very well also.
Absolutely. Ooh, and that's very edgy down to the down to this is back in as a batsman cross for single.
Very impressed with them. Also, their manager Leroy Webb has gone out and he's done quite a bit of recruiting.
Oh, and there's a catch.
Well.
It's in the air to M.S.C.L and he's gone. He's out. Maurice Blake hits that one in the air to Edwin M.S.C.L, who gets both hands on it at the long leg boundary and hit him hard.
I've seen him hit him harder than that.
Well,
but
statistics on Collamore's performance thus far this season.
Very experienced. Played with the Police Cricket Club in Barbados.
One of the strongest club teams probably in the world. They used to have, there's a nice tickle through the slips by Collamore and the batsman cross for two runs. Moving the score on to 85 for 3. And there's a beautiful off drive by Collamore and the 2 batsmen cross for a quick single. I'll be bowling to Yard. Yard just a boundary short of his half century. And he turns it away nicely into square leg and the batsman cross for a single. Moving Yard up to 47. English moves in and bowls again, and there's Collamore hitting it in the air but over the covers, and it's rolling out there. It's not going to reach the boundary. The batsman crossed for 2 runs, an easy 2, and the score moves on to 92.
Oh, and I think he wanted all of it there, and he paid the price.
You could have seen that such a disaster was shaping up, because Head, the batsman, from the very first ball that he bowled, he had contained the bat.
Get the bat now, and
Here's another veteran. He's been around for a while. You have a lot of wicket. Now it's time to go for the runs.
yes. And I think he
As
heard
I
you that time,
spoke,
Donovan.
He's hit that very well down to deep mid wicket. 4 runs. Very well hit. Very well timed ball. I think he heard me out there.
Oh, and Headley bowled for full toss and almost paid the price. Fortunately, he didn't get a very good hit on it, and they get only 2 runs.
Sometimes he flies, sometimes he pushes through, and it's really confusing
And
the
very
batsman.
effective, yes. Looks, no, this is probably going to be 4 runs.
And Colin Moore is
And
out,
I
caught
think
behind.
He's out, caught behind, going for that wild flash outside the off stump that I mentioned earlier.
You go for it, and you pay the price.
And now we have
Naveed.
And here's Naveed Ashraf now from Quincy, facing the bowling of English. Oops!
and he's bowled.
Bowled with a full toss, it looked like. It was either a Yorker or a full
Well,
toss.
I think it was a full toss. I
Yep.
didn't see the ball hit the ground. It hit very low down on the stumps, and it might have moved through in the air somewhat. And
That's a total of, wait a second, can that be correct? 9 6.
oops! And there we see Hackett getting out.
Oh my goodness. Hackett hitting the ball to M.S.C.L, who takes another catch. M.S.C.L appearing to be the fielder of the game. There he is, raising his fist in celebration. M.S.C.L is quite the character, and also, by the way, if we get a chance to watch him bat, he's very exciting batsman to watch. 4s and 9 6s, that's a total of 82 runs. And he only made 82 not out. It's possible that he'll, with the hour being as it is, there he is hitting the ball quite firmly past mid-wicket and down to the deep mid-wicket boundary. Oh, and there was a tempting one from Hadley. Tull reacted a little slowly to hesitate to appeal the fact that the ball is going down the leg side. Oh, and there's a nice pull by Tull down to long leg. It's fielded by Osborne, and the batsman cross for a single. Score moves on to 112. And now the sun is setting, the lights are on, and we're ready for this first night of cricket.
Bat like 3 hours or
That was a
days.
that was a plan that it was going to be limited to 3 hours.
3 hours.
I'm not sure what they're doing on the Tull now has 15 runs very quickly. And there goes that. That was in the air. He's going to be out. He's going to be caught. He's out. Well caught. Well caught by Austri down on the long on boundary. Tull tried to hit that one hard again, got under it a little too much, and Austri, though falling on his back, caught it well.
So I guess Headley gets the last lap.
As Everton Tull is out, well, that was certainly what used to be called once upon a time an umbrella field. A beautiful catch had he taken it, but he was a little half-hearted about going after it. And here's Austria again, and again a swing at it going down the leg side by Williams, 3 or 4 inches outside the leg stump.
Yes, indeed.
And there's one in the air. Oh, and that's either 6 or 4. It's going to be 4, rolling to the boundary. Well, that may dissuade Captain Butcher from bringing in the putting the umbrella field back on
For Williams.
for Williams again.
Well, that was the last ball of Williams' spell. Of Austri's spell, I do believe. He has now completed 8 overs.
Right. Be bowling from the other end. He's going to be bowling from the Dunbar Avenue end.
I think this would be the north end.
I would prefer to call it the Dunbar Avenue. Say medium pace. Oh, and the batsmen go for a quick single. And Babb running makes his ground. But Cummings didn't take the bails off. I think Babb was there myself.
Yes, I think he was too.
Okay, there's Cummings moving in now to bowl to Tull. To Williams. Williams turns it down the leg side. Fielded down there. And that's another run.
I think so too, and I think he'd be a lot closer to us right now.
Cummings again. Oh, and a nice tickle down the leg side by Babb. He's being chased down there. The batsman crossed for 2 runs. And Babb moves up 6 and the score to 133.
30.
There's where you have his versatility in Osborne.
There comes Osborne moving in now to bowl to. Oh, and it's in the air. It could be an out. Yes, Hadley catches him at fine leg. A short fine leg. Hadley moving back takes a nice catch as Williams swung that one, got a top edge, spooned it into the air, and Hadley at short fine leg ran backwards to take a nice catch.
And I must say that if I had to score 50 runs, Lyle Balkman would not be.
Well, as I recall, there was. I'm not sure where Lyle Balgobin is from. Is he from Guyana?
Yes, he's from
He is from Guyana. So in that case, he is somewhat similar to another great Guyanese player by the name of Lance Gibb. Right,
yes.
right. But it'll never be any better.
True.
And there's Babb playing a beautiful square cut. And that's going to be 4 runs. Just a gorgeous shot by Babb. Oh my goodness. And he moves into double figures at 10. And the score moves along, I believe, to 137. 137 for 9. That was not the shot of a number 9 batsman. But then in the last All-Star game, he didn't play like a number 9 batsman either.
Well, Steve, you've got to remember in All-Star games, people who for their club may bat at number 4 or 5 when they're playing among the stars of the league.
Often is due rather to a lackadaisical approach. Ooh, and there's a beamer. Oh my goodness, that ball got away from Osborne and was almost.
Because he went down the wicket to play the shot and he was out of his crease.
Right. Oh, and I think that was an edge, but it was an effective edge. If it wasn't an edge, it was a beautiful shot. And under any circumstances, it's a single for Babb.
And more importantly, Steve, it was the last ball of the over, so.
Cummings moving in again now to bowl to Babb. Babb plays it to mid-on. Balgobin calling for a single. Babb would have none of it, and Balgobin. Respectable score, not a great score, but one that should be defensible, I think, with the bowling that North Zone has. Babb again turning it very nicely down the leg side to third man, and once again he's
got the single on the ball before the last.
The next to last ball. So in other words, Balgobin will have to survive only 1 ball of the over. That's a nice shot by Balgobin, defeating the best laid plans of Sherlin Babb, because he takes the single off the last ball and he farms the strike. But he also gets off the mark, and the score moves on to 142 with 9 wickets with 5 overs left, facing the bowling of Osborne. This is just one. This is just one full of a sight never seen before in Boston. A night cricket match. Here now we have. Oh, and there. That's the problem that Bab was attempting to avoid. There's Balgobin's off stump, knocked back with let's see, 14 runs. Nice innings by Bab. And in a moment we will ask Willie Rodriguez to recap the innings for us. 43 runs for South Zone to win the match.
Looking at the North Zone scorecard, Carlyard top scored with a superb knock of 49 with 3 fours and 2 sixes off 74 deliveries. The rest of the card, Johnson made 19, Collymore 17, Tull 15, and Bab 14 not out. Highlight of the innings was a magnificent partnership, 59 and 57 minutes between Yard and Johnson. For the bowling, Headley took 4 for 30, English 3 for 23, Osborne 2 for 8. North Zone all out for 142 of 35.1 overs. We turn now to the start of the South Zone innings, requiring a run rate of 3.44 as they picked up playing the first over. Your commentators, Steve DeVoe and Chico Can.
Players that was selected, or has been selected rather, are quite prolific. And if they get going...
Balgobin bowling. Moving into bowl, second ball to Headley. And Headley wrapped on the pad. An appeal mainly from extra cover. Usually the appeals from extra cover are the most unimportant and usually the loudest also.
That's a very good point.
Balgobin moving in, bowling again, left arm. And there's Headley getting an edgy shot over gully and down to the boundary for 4.
Yeah, it's a very thick outside edge to that one. As it lobbed over the gully position. So the outfield being wide fast.
Who's the other batsman?
Short of a length and very fast. The batsman crossed a couple of, well, I'll give those in a moment as in comes Balgobin and last ball and an appeal for LBW as he hits Rampersad on the pad. Takes up the strike again and looks like, is that Bab that's going to be?
No, it's Tull.
Tull, okay. Everton Tull bowling from the Weeping Willow end to Headley. Headley's performance on the year, he's averaging 14.71 runs a game. He has a total of 103 runs with high scores of 35 and 36.
Tull's first ball starting outside the leg stem and going further down the leg side. Johnson doing a very good job to at least stop that one.
One of the advantages that North Zone has probably in this game is wicket keeping. They have a very effective wicket keeper in Johnson. Probably the best wicket keeper. Certainly I would maintain the best wicket keeper batsman in the league.
Very experienced, and he uses that every game.
Tull, one of the opening, there's another full toss and he's going to be out. And Headley plays a second high full toss in a row right into the hands of square leg for 1 wicket. Headley caught Balgobin off the bowling of Everton Tull for 5.
And what we saw there was Headley seemed to be quite uncomfortable against Tull. I don't know.
Your classic brush back pitchers in baseball. And give Edwin M.S.C.L, who can be one of the most entertaining batsmen in the league.
Which I'm sure is surprising them as much as it's surprising me.
That is one of his repertoire, having that ball come into the batsman at a very fast pace off the wicket, and he tends to get that ball moving.
In Hackett, cover point to cover. Mid-out, on the leg side, he has a leg slip, backwards spear in the mid-wicket.
And Tull's beginning to find his length. And bowling very aggressively. That one was much better length. And again, M.S.C.L plays it away on the offside.
Well, I'd like to see this for the Mass State. I'd prefer like to see it for cricket in general.
Yep.
Which is that more younger
Whoa!
players.
Excuse me, Michael. Here I am. we do have a game to talk about too. Oh, what a Yorker from.
The South Zone in an awful lot of trouble right now.
Who's this coming in?
Harding.
Okay, this is
Ian Harding.
Ridley Harding.
Yeah.
Ridley Harding from Combine Island Sports Club coming in to take Rampasword's place at the wicket, but 9 runs for 2 wickets, and now there's no doubt about it. The South Zone is in serious trouble. While the batsmen change, the two things you were going to say.
Generally, especially in the Boston area, that more younger folks would get involved in the game. I'm sure there's still a large influx of folks from the Caribbean coming into the Boston area. But for some reason, they're not getting involved in the sport, and what you have is
about a group of teams, about 8 teams that play with a tennis ball out in the Burlington area that I'm sure they would love to start playing. We might reach out.
Well, this is
doing it, absolutely. It's probably putting this on television is doing an important job as well. There's a nice shot by Harding for 2 runs, a cover drive. South Zone in reply to North Zone's 142. And there's another appeal turned down by umpire Nazir. Have the upper hand, whether a result of how much of a part the... Oh, and there may be a run out here, but... Whoops. But Shelley is too slow picking it up and misfields and the field... But he's just one level below that. Chico, would you say that?
Well, Steve, I told you at the start that Balgobin and Tal were 2 of the best bowlers on the field here tonight. And I think we are seeing that right now.
Balgobin just beat M.S.C.L again, all ends up, and the ball went through to the wicket-keeper, a loud appeal for a catch behind the wicket.
That score of 142 doesn't seem to be so low anymore, does it?
No, I never really thought it was low. I always thought...
We should also make mention of the people who are responsible for this broadcast here today. And I hope that we can get in contact with them.
Absolutely.
And give them some accolades for this wonderful privilege to be on TV.
Absolutely, Willie. Joe Collins, who is the producer of this and who is a player for Combined Islands in our league, has done just a wonderful job of putting this together for and the West Indian community, as well as the cricketing community and the West Indian community, owe a great deal to Joe Collins for this important contribution to our culture. Oh, there's a nice shot by M.S.C.L, and it's misfielded out there and no runs. M.S.C.L is just M.S.C.L was posing a little bit there, and there definitely should have been a run as that ball rolled down to third man, but no runs.
Balgobin has now had 4 overs, 2 maidens, 7 runs, 1 wicket. Brilliant bowling in the first half of this spell so far.
Especially if one remembers that of that 7 runs,
4 came
over Gully by Headley, absolutely. So without that, you're really talking about 4 overs, 2 maidens, 3 of a full toss, but moving into bowl. Oh, and there's a nice shot, a beautiful shot by Harding for 4. As he flicks that one away down to... There's a bouncer, my goodness, from Tull, following the boundary by
Harding.
I played out in the Southern California League where they have turf wickets, and there were a lot of bouncers being bowled out there. But of course, then they don't play. We're not playing limited overs cricket either. So, okay, here is Tull now bowling to M.S.C.L. And M.S.C.L a nice cover drive past mid-off, who can't reach it, and it's going all the way to the mid-off boundary, to the long-off boundary for 4. Beautiful shot by M.S.C.L, taking the score now on to 21, and M.S.C.L is on 8. Well, Chico, these two
Well,
seem
this
to
has been a very expensive over for Tull and for the North Zone.
Oh, a big edge!
And
Nice field. Well picked up by Shelley and throws it in.
and there was only a single off that one.
Shelley taking who needs a bicycle to get from one side to the other. The captain should do something about that. There's a nice throw in by Yard to wicketkeeper Johnson, and that's the end of the over.
On quite a few occasions. Might I add that I think the reason why Balgobin is so good is that he and I went to the same high school. So that may have something to do about it.
I see. So, in other words, you say in this high school there was a method of siphoning off the talent of some players and giving it to others? Just a very, very impressive performance. Moving in again to bowl. And there's a M.S.C.L cutting can be aggressive successfully when they miss. There he is again, moving into bowl. Oh, and there was a full toss, which M.S.C.L manages to slide away down to third man. Throwing gets past wicketkeeper Johnson, but it's backed up by Yard. And that's the end of the over.
On the wicket.
Right.
As you see on the baseball pads, the lights are right on the pads itself.
Right.
They never catered for cricket. But nonetheless, I think as time goes on, they can make the adjustment.
Right. And there's a single for Harding, and the score moves up to 25, I believe. 25 for 2 wickets.
A little more comfortable with him bowling around the wicket, so now he's coming over the wicket.
Absolutely.
See if he can confuse them a little.
Ooh, and he wraps Harding on the pad again, this time with it looked like a full toss, and nothing also.
Yes.
It's Balgobin again, Harding. Oh, and very uppishly plays forward and pushes it back down the wicket, and that was not the way that Harding wanted to play that ball at all.
Steve, getting back to switching Balgobin off, I might mention that Balgobin is also the captain of his club, as well as the vice captain of this team out here tonight. So I'm sure Blake would consult him on what to do, in that situation.
There's a nice looking shot from.
And Ashraf kind of lost sight of the ball there for a moment after he bobbled it.
Ooh, and that one almost got through. A very good ball bowled by Balgobin, and M.S.C.L plays it defensively back down the wicket. Earlier, Michael Bishop was remarking, Chico, that M.S.C.L style is not at all, even when it's really needed, it's not at all to stand there and play himself in and try to hold his wicket up for a while.
Absolutely, and I think the only reason he would ever do that is because he can't do anything else. And that could be an indication of how good the bowling is.
He's a wonderful statistician, so I'm certainly not going to argue with those statistics. Let's put it this way. There are 2 ways of going about dealing with difficult bowling. One is to get in, stay in, play with your head down, and take the runs when they come. The other is to try to knock it off length and off line by Sherlin Babb from North Shore, whom we saw play an attractive undefeated innings of 17, I believe, for the
And the scoring rate is substantially behind that at Naveed Ashraf of Quincy.
from Quincy, right?
Pakistani national, lives in the United States now, and he will be bowling from the north end, from the Dunbar Avenue.
Ah, outstanding. It's okay. Willie Rodriguez, do you have Balgobin's?
Yes, he has bowled 6 overs, 1 maiden, 9 runs, and he's collected 1 wicket.
Oh, and there's a ball in the air hit by M.S.C.L out through the covers, and batsman cross for 2 runs. An overthrow is stopped out there in the deep, and 2 runs, more runs for M.S.C.L, taking the score up to 28 runs for 2 wickets. I believe 13.
13. Yeah.
And there's a ball in the air. He's going to be out. He's out, caught and bowled. M.S.C.L hit that the second delivery from Ashraf in the air to the left side, to the leg side. Ashraf moved over. It was just spooned up. It was a dolly catch. Ashraf took it smoothly, and M.S.C.L is out for 14, 13? 13. And so South Zone now are just in as deep a hole as you could want. 28 runs for 3 wickets. They need another 115 runs with just 7 wickets in hand.
And they have to get that at 4 runs per over.
And the batsman now, Manning's performance so far this year is average of 13.43. 40 runs is his high score. Lynn is 27. He scored 27 against Lynn. And 50.
Before the last wicket fell, but now it becomes even more imperative that he does that.
Absolutely, Chico. There's a short ball from Ashraf, and beautifully played by Manning. And the fielder out there seemed to be fooled by it. Puts his fingers on it in the way that he wants to hold it in order to maximize the swing of the ball through the air. He moves into bowl short of a length that time, but Harding was not in the mood to make an aggressive shot. He just sort of hung his bat out there and was lucky not to get an edge. Not a confident unify and consolidate this innings. A single or after the next over, the 15 overs will be up, and more than 2 of the fielders will be able to move outside that 90-foot ring, that 90-foot circle. Sherlin moves in, Sherlin Babin bowls, and it's a good ball. Again, Manning trying to flick it down the leg side, not getting a touch, and waiting to the wicketkeeper Johnson, who threw down the wicket. Johnson's deadly accurate at throwing down the wicket from well behind the stumps. He did it again, but the batsman was back in his crease. Manning looking around, checking the field, and now Bab moves in again to bowl. Oh! And he's out. He is out. Umpire Nazir looked long and hard before giving Manning out a confident appeal. Nazir looked down the wicket, checked everything out. W off the bowling of Bab for 9. I'm sorry, not for 9, for 2. And South Zone falls deeper and deeper into trouble. Now 31 runs for 4 wickets here in the 14th over.
Nightlight is going to play tricks on you for the very first time.
Absolutely, Willie Rodriguez. In addition to which, the score that they were facing was not such a score that should have required them to really go for the runs quickly. I mean, they could take their time, and the score is now 33, is it?
Yes, 33.
33 for 4 wickets. Ashraf bowls, and there's a good ball, an edge by, and it goes for 4 runs. 4 edgy runs off the bat of Harding, and that takes him into double figures now.
Most people who doesn't know where Roberts Field is located, it's the field that faces the Dorchester High. So if you don't know where Roberts Field is, you know where Dorchester High is. You can come along and join us here this evening.
That moving in again to bowl. Osborne, who on a full toss that beats the wicketkeeper and is stopped in the deep by Tull very nicely and thrown in, saving 3 runs there.
It's the umpiring. And perhaps at the end of this over, I'll comment a little bit more on my feelings of the umpiring for tonight's game.
Absolutely. Umpiring, of course, is such an important part of cricket, and one, not referring to tonight, but one of the things I've felt, David, is that this year the umpiring. What do you think, David?
I don't know. He on and off. He's hot and cold as that young man. He doesn't seem to have reached the potential that everybody was suggesting he might be able to.
Yeah, I think that Graham Hick will in fact be a regular Test cricketer, but not for England. I think he's going to be a regular Test cricketer for. He's out. He's out. Is he out?
Given out.
No,
Caught behind.
given
No.
not out by the umpire. A confident appeal for a catching is gone. He's bowled by Sherlin Babb
For 17.
17, and
There should be a correction here. He has 15 runs.
At the moment, but they'll need to keep the run rate pushing along in order to win.
yes, Willie, you had it.
The batsman who just went in there is that the skipper?
Yes, that's Skipper Butcher.
You need a skipper's innings from Mr. Butcher.
Absolutely. I think he's probably promoted. He was originally scheduled to be
Needed, and it's within their capability, but they need a couple of guys to get their head down and to score these runs.
And there was a nice little tickle down the offside
Third man, yes, it was a lovely shot.
by Osborne, and the score moves on to 43, I believe.
Yes, I knew you might bring that matter out, that he originally hails from Zimbabwe. And I'm very pleased to see Zimbabwe have been given Test status in that they can play international matches now, and their scores can be recorded as part of full internationals. Again, it's been known to score 30 or more runs off one over, so add greatly to South Zone's score. However, the North Zone have got their tails up and are in excellent shape, and their confidence must be sky high. They still have a very aggressive looking field there, Steve. All the fielders are in. I don't see anybody out particularly deep looking to save the four. They're in close for that catch and putting the pressure on South Zone to make those runs. Lovely ball.
A bailer, he clipped the
Bales.
tops of the bales, and he's gone.
Yep.
Of course, but he's just doing a beautiful job tonight, and there goes Stephen Cummings, who after all his hard work in putting this match together has alas been dismissed for a duck. And
A duck. Well, that's an interesting cricket expression, isn't it? A duck. I wonder where that one comes from. For 0 runs. Yes, exactly
A duck
right.
egg.
A duck egg. Is that where it
Yes,
came from?
yep.
But he certainly didn't get any runs. That's the
44 now for 7, is that correct?
That's correct.
discussion about whether he's had one. Oh, he's got him. First ball. First ball. Now
And
that
that's
has
Ashraf's 4th wicket.
that has special significance. A golden duck, it's called. Am I right there, Steve?
Absolutely. A golden and the other thing that that ball definitely established is, David, that you're going to be opening the inning.
We have a scoreboard at our ground with special significance for the duck. Have you mentioned that at all?
No, you can
No,
allow you to mention that, David.
well, the scoreboard at our ground is fairly small, and we have a limited number of digits that can fit on the scoreboard. However, the Mr. Harding, who made the figures, created one.
Situation, David. Ashraf with 2 wickets and 2 balls.
Can he
now
make
has a
it 3
chance.
and 3 balls?
If he gets English first ball, that will be the hat trick.
Do you remember the last hat trick you saw, Steve? Anywhere? Have you seen
I've
one
never
recently?
seen one live. I remember listening to Lance Gibbs get one against Australia in 1960 on radio, but that's the last I've heard.
Here we go now.
Here we go. Oh!
He saved it.
English plays it off his foot. It's not a hat.
Swung the bat quite vigorously, and I thought he was going to really try and get a few runs quickly, but he seems to.
Well,
for the season.
well, his native country of Pakistan can be proud of him. Of course, they have produced many great bowlers.
That's a nice shot.
Oh, there's a beautiful straight drive.
Straight drive.
By Osborne, rolling way back there. But the batsman crossed for only 1. They thought it was going to go for 4, and it wound up being only a single, which is, again, there's no excuse for that. No.
Hold out as long as you wish, Steve, but there's no denying the truth that Waka Yunus is certainly the best bowler in the world at the moment, no doubt about it. He's very fast.
I have to agree, he's one of the 2 best.
Four
Four
buys there.
4 buys there.
4 buys there.
And of course, they also have Wasim Akram.
Yes.
And although Imran Khan may have retired, he may not have. In which case, he's still one of the
He's
best
still very
all-rounders
good.
in
Yes,
the world.
he's very good also. Yes.
And soon we may have be saying
No,
Naveed
dead ball.
Ashraf in the same
team. Yes, that could be next time he shows. Where should they go to see him turn over his magic? Do you know, Steve, offhand, where they're playing next?
He plays for Quincy, and he may be playing out in the Quincy area. I don't have a schedule right in front of me. I know that they're going to be playing in West Newton against Commonwealth, your club.
That's right.
Within the next couple of weeks, I believe. Plays for a team which most people would consider not to be one of the strongest teams in the league by any means.
Well, cricket is one of those games where you have to have more than just one stump, and this all confuses, of course, the batsman who doesn't get an opportunity to anticipate the ball. Oh, lovely ball, middle peg.
49 for 9.
Last man going in.
Last man going in, who is Austri, the fast bowler, moving out now from the fast bowler from Spartans, moving in. And okay, Sherlin Babb has also bowled very, very well. Do you have his figures by any chance, Willie Rodriguez?
Yes, Sherlin has bowled 5 overs for 7 runs, and he has gotten 2 wickets. 3 wickets. 3
5
wickets.
overs, 1 maiden, 7 runs, 3
3
wickets. These two gentlemen have just done a superb job. There's no question about it.
Well, Steve, when you think about it, the North Zone has used only 4 bowlers, and 3 of those have been devastating.
Absolutely. Oh, and it's all over. And Babb takes the 4th wicket. Middle stump, first ball, and the match is over.
It's very difficult to see bowling like this under any circumstances, and have 3 good bowlers coming together all at one time, and 4.
So a disappointing performance by the South Zone 11. Only 2 batsmen reached double figures. Wiggly Hardy with an enterprising knock of 15 and M.S.C.L 13, as the rest of the batting crumbled. For the bowling, we saw some excellent bowling from both Naveed Ashraf and Sherlin Babb. Each took 4 wickets, and I can tell you it was the best piece of bowling I've seen in a long time. Everton Tull and Lal Balgobin also bowled extremely well. The South Zone made 49 of 21.5 overs, losing by 93 runs. All in all, I think it was a great match, and we can look forward to some more exciting night cricket in the near future. At this time, I join Steve DeVoe and Iona Headley as they make the presentation for the man of the match.
Good. This is Steve DeVoe again from the Mass State Cricket League at Roberts Field. Conclusion of a wonderful match, the All-Star game, first ever night game in Boston between the North Zone and the South Zone, and we have the players all lined up, the umpires, they did a great job. By the way, the comment was made more than once that the umpires did a great job in this game, and I'd like to thank them a lot. First, I would like to announce the winner of the award for the South Zone. The winner of the award for the South Zone is a gentleman who bowled 8 overs, 1 maiden, 30 runs, and took 4 wickets. And his name is Grantley Hadley, and the award is going to be made by his wife, Iona Hadley.
This is for you in the first night game ever in the history of the Mass State Cricket League. Man of the match for the wickets that you took. I hope that you appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Grantley. You took 4 wickets. That's almost as many runs as you scored.
Guys, this is a joint award. A man taking, 4 wickets for 7 runs? That's just cricket. So, congratulations to both of you. I don't know which one of you are going to take it home. You'll have to join.
Thank you.
Okay? Thanks. Okay.
Congratulations, and thank you, cricketers, and thank you, Boston Neighborhood Network, for putting this on. We know it's the first time. We hope it won't be the last time, and the Mass State Cricket League enjoyed bringing you this. Thanks a lot, and be sure to go out and see cricket matches at all of your neighborhood grounds in the coming weeks in August, because we're going to be playing cricket here till the end of September. Thanks a lot.
He's never caught one spy, I'm told. He's never even caught a cold. got his degree from Disneyland. But he's the last of the secret agents, and he's my man. He's an underwhelming kind of sleuth. He thinks James Bond's some kind of suit. He's farther back then and also ran. But he's the last of the secret agents, and he's my man. He's an underwhelming kind of sleuth. He thinks James Bond's some kind of suit. He's farther back then and also ran. But he's the last of the secret agents, and he's my man.